Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Google Hangout here. It's Glenn Dietzel speaking, and I'm really excited today. We're going to be talking about how to create and leverage your own certification co-branding program. Going to be interviewing Joy Pecchia on what she's been able to do with our systems, our tested and proven systems, and it's my honor and privilege today to introduce Joy to you in just a moment. For those of you that are new to our Google Hangouts, you know that we're a huge proponent of speed to market, business acceleration, leveraging accelerated teaching and learning, and just getting people into action. I see so many entrepreneurs today that are overthinking. They're really not executing, thinking that they are executing, and they're not really focusing on the core areas of building and growing a company. So we want to help you with that. And today I want to give you and help you by developing the confidence of playing a bigger game. And in order to do that, as I just shared on a recent Google Hangout where I was being interviewed globally, so many entrepreneurs today simply don't have posture in the marketplace. And posturing is crucial in positioning yourself to get the kind of attention that you really want to get. Because when you do that, you raise the level of influence. And when you raise the level of influence, people pay attention to you. So I want to help you with that. Joy wants to help you with that. And I've got a series of questions that I'm going to be asking Joy. So for those of you that have been following us, you know that we're a fan of having a cup of coffee or your favorite tea, and also having some water. And it's a good thing. Because we want to make sure our minds are well hydrated so we can appropriate what we're going to cover today. I want to, for those of you that understand that ascension models don't work anymore, that you don't want to be held captive to high-priced copywriters, you don't want to fall victim to business funnels that require you to spend a lot of time and effort and energy on minimal return, you're going to absolutely love what we teach in the area of how to build the kind of positioning for yourself to command market attention and market domination for yourself. So I'm going to be interviewing, as I said, Joy Pecchia. And Joy, welcome to our Google Hangout. I just want to do a quick test with you. You can hear me okay, and I can hear you okay?
All right, very good. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you perfectly, Joy. And Joy is hailing from the Minneapolis, Minnesota area. So, Joy, for those people, half of our crowd will be seasoned entrepreneurs, coaches, and consultants. The other half are looking at, growing an advice-based business. And when it comes to developing the confidence to just step out of your comfort zone, what's your first recommendation, just to set the tone? Then I want to I want you to tell us a little bit about who you are. So to set the tone here, what do you recommend for everybody right now in terms of getting themselves conditioned to getting ready to listen to you? So in terms of playing big and getting conditioned to you, what is your number one recommendation?
Just so I'm clear, to get them to listen to me now, or
yeah, get them ready. Get them ready to step out. Get people ready to step out and make a quantum leap in their ability to execute. To get ready to listen to you today and execute. What's your recommendation?
Turn everything else off and focus on Glenn and I today.
Okay.
Hopefully you'll get some real. Pardon me?
Perfect. Keep going. Sorry.
Hope you get some really great nuggets. I would take notes. Glenn is all about writing as a doing part of thinking, and I totally agree with that. Whether you do it on an electronic device or you just write it down, if you're driving, pull over, because you're not going to retain everything if you just keep it in your mind. So I would say write it down and don't multitask. We all think we're great multitaskers, and really we're not as great as we think we are. So I would recommend just being able to focus on the call and take notes.
Okay, good. And thanks, Joy. Okay, perfect. Because it's nice to hear from what others have to say about our systems and recommendations. Joy is a client who has gone through our certification co-branding program. Joy, let's just start off by, let's frame our discussion, because we want to talk about certification co-branding, the importance of that. I'm leveraging you as a case study today, and just help everybody understand, where you were before you started, you're creating your own certification co-branding program. Because there are going to be many people in this training here that think that I can't do that, or that's too advanced, or so let everybody know where you were before you started creating your own certification co-branding program, and from that, just a big picture of what's happened to you, and then I want to kind of break down and ask you some specific questions, if that's all right.
Sure. Well, one thing that wherever any of you are right now, was probably there at some point. It takes effort, it takes confidence, it takes working with an expert to really get your ideas formulated, because we're all idea generators, right? We can go after great ideas, the next bright shiny object. You know, we're so creative, especially as entrepreneurs. And it's really gathering enough information to take a calculated risk. But a big part of it is being able to step forward, being able to step into that what you want to do, because you know it's not just going to come and one day you're going to have it all figured out and, oh, this is perfect, now I can go. That's not how it works. It's one step at a time, and remember, it could be 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, so it's not necessarily a linear process. But this is what I can guarantee you. This is what I've learned through all of through my company and all of the people that I work with, is that when you just stay with it one step at a time and get that momentum going, then you're going to be able to see the bigger picture, or you're going to be able to have a sense that you're getting closer. You can't go from here and make the big quantum leap, because that is not sustainable. All right, yeah, I'm about speed to advancement, and Glenn's got his programs too, yet you have to be willing to, if you start taking steps, then it's going to open up and you're going to be able to move faster and faster and faster. But when you don't move, then nothing happens. Nothing happens. You're just going to stay stuck. So if there's that one thing that you can do, great, do that. And then the next one thing, and then maybe the next 3 to 5 things. But it does build momentum, and it builds your confidence too, that yes, you can do this too.
So why don't you, thanks Joy, why don't you let everybody know what it is that you actually do right now? What is your business all about? And I'm going to ask you some specific questions to make some very specific recommendations to our viewers around certification, co-branding, and how you've been able to leverage the program that I assisted with you in creating. So just tell everybody a little bit about what it is that you do.
I do, for the most part, coaching. And when I met Glenn, however many years ago that was now, Glenn, I was Tony Robbins' coach for the most part, and I was doing my business part-time. And really through working with Glenn, is I just realized, you know, as much as I loved Tony Robbins' coaching, I enjoyed that, loved all the clients, I really wanted to do my thing. I wanted to work my programs and just play a bigger game, just step out there and see what I could make happen. So Glenn really supported me in that, working with him for the first year, just getting a handle on, I guess confidence was one of the biggest things that Glenn helped me with, because we're all in our own little worlds, right? And we're thinking, okay, this is how we see our perspective on who we are in business. And it's helpful to have somebody else give you their perspective. And I realized, wow, wait a minute, I have a ton of experience, a lot of skills. I'm really good at what I do. So yes, I'm ready to go to that next level. And so I did create other coaching programs with Glenn. And then he started up his certified coach training program. And Glenn, I don't know if you remember the day that you told me, okay, Joy, I think this is something that you definitely want to consider. And I'm like, why would I possibly want to train coaches? That's not what I'm about. I'm about working with individuals and making their life stellar, achieving all of their results. And he's like, think about it. Think what it would be like for you to put them through a coach training program. And one of the things about that I thought through was, I went to 3 different coaching schools myself. I went through the Coaches Training Institute, through the Anthony Robbins Coaching Academy, and through the Meta Institute. So I had a lot of coaches training. And yet when I look around, I had started up my business in 2002. Nobody else was doing their business. They all went back into a job or back into something else that they were doing before they had learned everything at coaching. So I looked around and thought, okay, I love what Glenn is about, is not only do you get trained to be a coach, but also how to build a business. And I have that business acumen because I was in corporate. I was a GM for over 20 years. So I brought the business acumen with me, which is why I could start a coaching company. And now I thought, yes, I think that's the missing piece for a lot of people, is they really don't have that business building. So I love being able to supply everything that I've learned, and similar to what Glenn has done with his program, it really expanded my company in a way that I didn't even realize, because it also brought me into other opportunities. Glenn, I don't know if you want me to share other
absolutely.
corporate.
Why don't you share with us, like, how has it helped you play a bigger game? And that's why I wanted just some opening remarks to get people ready, to challenge their assumptions about success, be willing to take focused, outcome-driven action. So how is having your own certification, co-branding program assisted you to play a bigger game? Because we all do, but as we mentioned, and I've mentioned too, it's the confidence level, or we kind of get locked into our own, we quickly, I see so many people, like you just pointed out, they start a company, they start a business, but they get locked into, held hostage by the model that they create, and it ends up forcing them to go under in business, and they don't make it. So help us to play a bigger game. How's that helped you play a bigger game?
Well, one thing, and I know that you talk about this too, Glenn, is we have to serve our target market. They're going to bring the next great idea for what you want to do in business. And what happened with me is, one of the people that I had in my coach training program, she was very interested in starting up her own company and really being able to do well in coaching, because she had a large team in her company. She was on an HR team. So when her team started seeing all the results that this person was having, because they were having better conversations, asking better questions, built a ton of rapport, had a lot of trust with the people, so then the HR team wanted their whole team to be trained. Well, as I brought in the training program to them, which was great, I just did the training program and not the business building program. So it's like, oh, okay, here's a whole new program I had that I didn't realize I was going to be doing, but obviously there's a need for it, because in my world I work with corporate, and really the HR is moving from the old wisdom where they're put out the fires and do all the paperwork, right? And they're swinging over to the new wisdom, which is all about being a strategic business partner. Now, typically I work with C-level in a company, and that's also how I knew that HR was going to be able to have value out of this coach training program and strategic business partners, because they want HR to step up and be a peer along with, like, sales and operations, along with the other divisions. So they're not just put out the fire, but they're really coming in and making a difference with their human capital, which is the most important thing for companies. So they have gotten a lot out of the coach training program. They now have coaching programs that they've developed within their company, and it's not about grievances or the other issues. We have a different program for that, because we built a corporate university, so it has those other legs. So now they're able to create their own coaching program within their organization. And then we got other work. There are other divisions in the company. It's a growing company, so I also have a strategist on my team, and she was able to go in and do the strategy in different locations. So it's still blossoming. There's still other opportunities. But like I said before, it's starting somewhere and then letting it open up. So there are a lot of opportunities there that I didn't really expect when I started a coach training program.
Right. So I want all of you to put that down. How many people would just love, here, right now, suppose you're able to give yourself, the ultimate opportunity that would take your company to a completely different level, put you in contact with that ideal person that could open up and explode your company. That's what we're talking about right now. It's creating those opportunities for yourself. Because so many people today have the kind of lottery mentality with their business that if they just hang in long enough, they're going to be successful. The problem with that is if you're following or you're inside of the wrong business model, you're hanging around in the wrong model. That's not going to help you. You're hanging around in a condemned building, long enough to put in a new bathroom or a new kitchen, in a condemned building, it just doesn't matter. I hope all of you see that's a recipe for disaster. So you want to create your opportunities for yourself. You've got to stay at the forefront of what's going on in business, and having your certification co-branding program is absolutely crucial. If you're going to take time to organize your advice, you might as well do it in the fastest time and the most strategic time, in a way that's going to allow you to control marketplace. It's kind of interesting today, Joy. Normally I'm jotting things down and I post it up and stuff, and all my other stuff, my stuff is actually on another desk here because I was so interested in interviewing you that I didn't do that today. Secondly, this is our new platform. So if you have questions or make comments, please use newgurumodel.com/hangout, newgurumodel.com/hangout, and you can type in your comments there. Something we've never done before. Joy, let's talk about exposure, because the greater exposure that you have, it's easy to have others then compare themselves to you, or when you have the kind of exposure or strategic exposure, you automatically build momentum for your company. You're able to leverage a little-known law that we teach our clients called Milgram's Law. The marketplace will blindly believe the words of an expert. Being an expert's not good enough today. You've got to push yourself above all the experts. That's why having a certification program is so crucial, because it communicates to your marketplace that you've got tested, proven systems. All right? And it's not as hard as you think. What's hard is doing what you're probably doing right now, because there's probably not one of you right now, if we're all honest with ourselves, we're not doing what we could be doing because we're handicapped by the business model that we've created for ourselves. So, Joy, talk about what having your own certification co-branding program has done for you to gain greater exposure for your company. How has it made your company, brought it into high definition, all right?
Well, it's really expanded my program base. And so when I'm out in the marketplace, I have different things to talk to based on my target market. It's not just the one message. Before, my message was just about coaching. Well, there were some times when I was speaking or in different meetings and it wasn't necessarily coaching that they needed at the time. Maybe it was strategy. All right, so then I went in with strategy. So this gives me another program to offer. And there's some people that have had life coaches, and yet they are very interested in getting a different type of business coach training. I love business, and I know, Glenn, that you do too. You don't necessarily need to love business to be in a certified coaching program, but it's just been another avenue for me to go into. And as many of us, we have so many different gifts and talents. And part of having your own company is that you get to have that flexibility where you can create different things, create different opportunities, not to like put too much in there where now you're all off focus, but to have different areas, different niches that you really enjoy and you're passionate about, and there's a target market that's similar to some of the other things that you're doing, so you can see how things are intertwined, and it really allows you, or it allows me to have a lot more fun when I'm doing a variety of things. It pushes me, because I had to come up with the program and I had to think through everything I've learned, and really, to become masterful at it is when you teach it back, right? So putting all of that together. And I was uncomfortable with it at first. I think, Glenn, I said, where do I even start? And you said, start with the history of your company. So, again, building on some things, but it it falls in line. It works really well with the focus of what I do for people, and it expands the conversations that I can have and the way I can get in the door with them. So that's been very helpful. Does that answer your question, Glenn?
Yeah, absolutely, because it's all about getting in the door. It's all about, creating that conduit or messaging what you do that makes you automatically attractive to your ideal client. So talk to us, Joy, about the ease or the positioning that you have today that allows companies and others to come to you as opposed to you going to them. Um, and so really we're talking about pull versus push. Um, your observations around that and how you've seen other people interested in what you do.
Well, a lot of it for me, I started doing a lot of speaking and a lot of different presentations. Remember that there's so much information out there that you really want to come up with a way that the person is going to know, like, and trust you. So I've been able to create that for my company. I can read people pretty well, and you will be able to too as you get out and about and meet a lot more people or do it online if that's what your preference is. I think there's so many different ways to create that abundance in your business place. For me, I go to a lot of meetings. I'm going to a business conference tomorrow where there's a lot of different companies going, so it's a learning opportunity, and I'll also talk to as many people as I can and really find out what they're interested in, what are any gaps in their business. So it's asking questions because they're telling you how to design your marketing, right? They're helping you to respond to what they're saying. So being clear about questions that you want to ask. I do a lot of questioning, and I get out and about, and then I'm on social media. I've got my website. So it's, again, I think entrepreneurs like a lot of variety, and I think today's world really allows us to generate business in a number of different ways.
Yeah, and you know what? That's all part of being the knowledge broker, right, in your industry, being the
Right.
trusted advisor. So you're no longer just solving a specific problem. You're actually solving a number of problems, and you're organizing your company very strategically. You've got a training and certification division within your company, which I teach all of my clients and make sure they've got that in their posturing. So that's really important. Joy, in the increased positioning that you've created for yourself and the ability to be able to start attracting people to you as opposed to you having to go chase them, why don't you talk to all of our listeners about how much more you've been able to charge, the cash flow situation with your company. Can we go there for a couple of moments? And by the
Well,
way, everybody, newgurumodel.com/hangout for your comments or questions. newgurumodel.com/hangout. Those of you that are watching us on our new Google Hangout platform, just check underneath below. There's a comment section there. You can just type in your comments or questions directly there. Sorry, go ahead, Joy.
Okay. Now I was listening to all that, and what did you want me to
talk about? Just the value you bring to the marketplace from the ability to be able to charge more, increase your cash flow for your company.
Yes. Okay. Well, isn't it great when your company gets to the point where your cash flow just kind of handles itself? Initially when you start out, you're usually investing your money or your family's money into your company, and then you get to a point where you're doing receivables and payables kind of are taking care of each other, and now all of a sudden you've got this nice cushion here. And it's because you've charged appropriately for your programs. Because this is one thing that I've learned is people really do place value on how much you charge. And there is no playing small in putting a price on a program because it's something that you're comfortable with. So I think that's, maybe for some entrepreneurs really to work through that piece is what is their financial comfort level, because whatever that is what you're going to be pricing your programs and what you're going to attract. So it's great when you can push past that, and the old fake it till you make it works, is having a different paradigm around money and what you expect, and remembering that you're a for-profit company, remembering that yes, you might be really want to help people, and that's the most important thing, and yes, you can get paid very well for that. There's nothing wrong with that. So you do need to check in with your values and beliefs about money, because that's a big one. And once you work through that, you can charge 2, 3, 4, 5 times, 10 times what you thought you would originally charge. What I'm getting paid for my clients now is well more than what it was when I started out. What I charge for my programs is a lot more, and yet it's not outrageous. It feels right for me. So, you know, I think that's kind of a personal thing, and yet know that the sky's the limit. You're the only one getting in your way. And when you can present something with confidence and make a connection with that person and let them know that you hear what they're looking for and this is why you're going to be able to help them, being that authority figure, you can really charge pretty much anything. Prices are all over the board out there. You've probably noticed that. There's not like, well, coaching needs to fit into this paradigm and visioning here and training here. It's not really like that. There's so many different opportunities for type of delivery and type of pricing that you can have your certified program set up a number of different ways, where you've got your really high price program, and if somebody needs to get in the door at a smaller level, you've also got that. And yet, you know, whatever you focus on the most, whatever you emphasize is, you know, what you're creating. So really start with the end in mind. Take a look at your values about money and make sure that you're feeling really strong, and if not, do some work around that. And then, yeah, I charge a lot more for my programs now than I did before, and I know I'm worth it, and my clients get great results, and I don't hear money issues. I don't know, you're too expensive, or I don't hear that because I don't have a paradigm for that. But I had to do some work around that too. So right. You know, there's some things as you grow as a company, you grow personally, and it kind of goes hand in hand. It really doesn't work well one without the other. Would you agree with that, Glenn?
Yeah, absolutely. Just hearing you talk compared to where you were when we started together, it's unbelievable. And probably you all want to jot down a few things that Joy said, review them. You know, as we tell clients, you can start moving to a market around 3 different ways. A tactic, which most people start with, or a strategy. Those are the 2 ways, and most people start there. Most experts and gurus start there. Or a completely new paradigm, a completely new way of seeing your value, of seeing your advice, being able to magnify the value of your advice. And I don't think there's one person just listening to you, Joy, that doesn't know that you can charge whatever you charge, and you are worth that. Price is what you pay, value is what you get, and as Joy just said, she delivers results. And that's the power of having a system. And if you start taking a look at your systems that you have from the, you know, as we teach in creating a certification program, there are 7 fundamental systems. There's a business model that you choose, and you should be starting with a certification co-branding program because there's so many experts in today's marketplace. Just go to Amazon, see how many authors are there in your industry, and it's like, you know, I tend to do this all the time, Joy. You know, look down. It's kind of like you're starting a race, right? You see all these people lined up, same place. Why would you start there? Why would you start on the lowest rungs of the price ladder and not position yourself at the highest rungs of the value ladder? So it all begins by rethinking, and just by, you know, taking a little bit of time. Suppose you're able to just take a little bit of time around what Joy has made some very specific recommendations around taking a look at how you view yourself, how you view money, how you view the advice that you put into the marketplace. What if you were to take and start structuring your advice inside of a certification program so that instead of looking like this and seeing all these people, these competitors at the same level, you're now stepping out and you're actually looking over your shoulder because they're already automatically behind, because you've positioned yourself as the advisor, as a trusted advisor. You know, are you seeing this? Hope all of you are picturing and can you see this? The power of what we're talking about. And then being able to use our very strategic way of running your consultative process so that you're building, the critical systems. What we teach, the Freedom Business Funnel, so no longer do you have to be held hostage to Ascension models, high-priced copywriters. You've got a vetting process, and all of you have that. You have a client intake process. You have a client services process. You have a client management system. You have accelerated teaching and learning, just like Joy has. You have strategic vendor partners. And when you start taking a look at, wow, how you can reframe your advice in a way that magnifies your value, it's pretty powerful, because as we've mentioned here and Joy touched on, you're not just, tunnel vision going into the marketplace as a coach. You're going in as the CEO of a company that is a thought leader in your industry, that is leveraging the advisory age, that has a certification program, that also has a co-branding relationship with clients, coaches, and trainers in the industry. And Joe, I want to go there for a second and kind of finish up. How has, what we teach, the biggest trend in today's marketplace is the ultimate joint venture. But not just joint venturing with anybody, but joint venturing with your own coaches, with your own trainers, the coaches, the trainers, the clients in your industry, your own clients, that you can leverage through. Mm-hmm. Talk to us about how, the co-branding relationship with your clients, how that's allowed you to build the predictability, the certainty, the security with your company, and what that's really offered your clients and what it's offered you. How's that? That's kind of a loaded question around the power of co-branding.
All right, that's a lot of things. Let's see.
But we're going to finish off with that. So I want just people hear what you have to say.
All right. Well, with the co-branding, I just think it works really, really well, because it's so much easier when you've got somebody else supporting you while you're out growing your business. And this person doesn't necessarily have, an investment like a shares of your company or anything, but you've got somebody working through some specific things that are really important to you and to your company. I wish I had that when I started. I fumbled along so much because I had to figure everything out by myself. If I had somebody like me or like Glenn, right, to help with the program, it makes it so much easier. You can build your confidence quicker. You've got somebody else to bounce ideas off of, and they know what it is that you want to accomplish. So just having that other person, having the systems, having the templates. I mean, I know Glenn's put a lot in his program, and everything in my program, it's like, this has taken me the lifetime of me and my career to put all this stuff together. So it's tried and true information. It just saves so much time. And sometimes it's just a quick question I get. Other times they'll want to have a meeting and talk for an hour because they want to hash through something with a specific client. They can go to me for references and resources. So, it's not like just who you know, but now you've got this network of people. And joint ventures, absolutely. Teaming up with other people who have the same target market, yet they offer something different. It's a great way to build your company, and again, a great way for you to be in concert with someone else. Because we're not supposed to be doing this alone. That's my belief, I guess, is, there's so many entrepreneurs now, and if we're all going to be silos and work independently, we're not going to be that strong. I think we can be a lot stronger when you have the authority on this idea and you combine it with somebody else's authority, and this co-branding piece supports it over here, and then you bring in this other referral partner. And when you start adding all those different components, you get a really strong weave going, and now you've got a solid foundation. And you can do events together, you can get on calls together, you can share client work. It's just having somebody else or another company supporting your company, I think, is really helpful. And the co-branding piece, I think works really great. I think you remember, Glenn, it's like, really, what does that mean? And it makes so much sense because these people are just learning. I mean, you're going to learn in your program, and you won't necessarily just want to be off on your own. Now you've got somebody in there continually giving you resources and additional information that will, again, it just makes you that much stronger. So my suggestion would be to think like it's not just you as a CEO, which, by the way, that was a big clarification back when I worked with Glenn. I always saw myself as the coach, never the CEO. All of a sudden, it's like, whoa, I guess, okay, yes, I am a CEO of a company. I need to act like CEOs of companies act. The corporate structure is successful because of how it's set up. And there's a lot of things that aren't successful about it, but there's certain things that you do to build a foundation for your company for corporations to be successful. Well, you want to have some of those same foundations in place. And the CEO of a company doesn't do it all on their own. They never would. So I think this co-branding is really like just the different resources that you would get from the different departments and your different networking as a very strong support.
Yeah, and it's what all the big companies are doing today. They're co-branding. Nike and Apple, Walmart and McDonald's. We could go over.
Yeah.
I'm into Spartan races, Reeboks, and Weetabix. Everybody today is co-branding, and as I like what you just said. Is it's a really good metaphor that people today, they try to take a look at and try to build their company as a silo. When you want to build your company as a tightly woven community, where you're the trusted advisor, you give like a look what Joy allows in her industry for people that want to be executive coaches, etc. Joy, they could say, like, Joy's got her intellectual property now. She's got she's looking and acting like the CEO of a large company, which she, as a growing entrepreneur, is amazing because it helps you increase your valuation of your company for an exit strategy. It increases your cash flow, increases your posturing. It allows you a lot more influence, and not just influence for yourself, but in making connections. But think of all the people today. It's either compare yourself to others or have others compare themselves to you. And by Joy positioning herself, and for all of you that are watching this, by you positioning yourself properly, just like Joy is, you could bring in other coaches, other trainers, who want to invest in your programs, and they want the same authority, the same credibility. Suppose you had that same credibility and authority as Joy. Suppose you had the same authority, credibility as me. What if you were able to leverage the kind of credibility that's taken me years and years and years to create, taken, time for Joy to create, and, you're new in business or you don't have the same posture, and you want, those tried, proven systems to leverage that in your market? It's unbelievable how you can build a really tightly woven network. That's why I say that co-branding is the ultimate joint venture. Joy, we have a couple more moments here. Just take 30 seconds. Let everybody know, one or two big recommendations about business for your standpoint. Because we've got people that are watching us. This is all about a business breakthrough. I want people to understand that it's not about looking at individual strategies and tactics. It's about knowing how to control conversations in your marketplace. Give us one or two recommendations to all of our listeners right now, and just in the next 30 seconds or so.
Well, a recommendation, if you're thinking about being an entrepreneur and you haven't gotten started yet, and you're able to take calculated risks, you want to play a really big game and have flexibility and passion in your career and what you want to achieve, and you've got the money, the success that comes with that, I would say go for it. Even if it's scary, do your due diligence. Do some due diligence and make sure, okay, this is something that I'm really good at and I'm really passionate about, and there's a target market for it. Then go for it. You know what it's like to be in corporations these days, and I don't know that that's going to change anytime soon. The level of stress that my clients have is almost ridiculous, and I mean, I could start going off on a tangent about all the health issues there's going to be, but if you have a dream, if you have an idea, if you're willing to do what it takes, if you're willing to work hard, don't hesitate to go out there and make it happen. Is it going to be easy? No, but nothing worth doing is that easy. I mean, if I said, okay, in a month's worth of time, you're going to go shopping, go baking, wrap all these presents, redecorate your house, have all this company over, and you're going to do that amongst everything else that you're doing in 4 weeks. You'd say, well, you're nuts, but everybody seems to get ready for the holidays, right? Well, you can fit in whatever it is you need to fit in. Mm-hmm. And if you're willing to work hard and have fun at it, you will love the life that you've created. So go for it.
And that's ultimately what it's all about, right? Creating what we call an ROIT business, return on invested time. Joy, it's amazing to see how you've grown as an entrepreneur, as a CEO of a growing company, the influence that you have at the corporate level, the ways that you've been able to dimensionalize your value and strategically position yourself, the ability to raise the conversations in your marketplace, all because you started by raising the conversation with yourself about what you were going to settle with or not settle with. So I want all of you that are watching us right now, wherever you are, I want you to make sure that you resign yourself to something today. Resign yourself to, maybe for some of you, getting out of that job that you have, or how you view money, or for others of you, stop watching and listening to all the gurus and experts online. And I'm going to put that in quotation marks because you got to be very careful, because most of them will hold you hostage to the wrong business model, high-priced copywriters, positioning yourself at the lowest rungs of the price ladder where all the competition's at. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to be there. And in today's marketplace, you can't afford to be there. You need to reposition yourself as a trusted advisor. So, Joy, I want to thank you. For those of you that are interested in finding out more about certification co-branding, we've got a really cool system. We can give you some free education to speed things up. We've got a really cool educational process that we put everybody through. You probably want to write down Omega, O-M-E-G-A, if you're one of those kinds of people. If you're not, you want to go slow. This is probably not something that you want to do. If you want the hard way, you don't want to do this. If you want the easy way, and not that it's easy from the standpoint that you're not going to be putting some time in, but it's going to be easy because you're not going to be doing what other people are doing. You want to text us Omega, O-M-E-G-A, to 248-469-4376, Omega to 248-469-4376. Amazing program. Our clients are coming in all over from the world today to work at the Canadian Lake Home and helping me, working with you, and helping you build your certification co-branding program a lot faster, a lot quicker, and helping you execute in today's marketplace. So if you want more info, please text us there. We will send you free advice, free education. There's no hard sales. You won't have to worry about any of that. We don't believe in it. It'll also give you an opportunity. You should only be texting us if you are, and that will allow you and me to exchange contact information. But everybody's vetted by me personally in this program, and that's what I'm really proud of. And I want to just exhort all of you right now to really truly going for it. If you're an action taker, if you're somebody that's really willing to get out of the bondage that you probably find yourself in right now, wherever you are on the success ladder. We've got 2 clients that are billionaires, and even billionaires are held hostage by what their advice is really worth and how can they execute more strategically as a trusted advisor. So I want to thank you, Joy, for joining us today. For all of you that have been watching us, we have a couple of hiccups with our new platform, but you can still go there. I will have to dig out the comments at newgurumodel.com/hangout. That's our platform. That's going to be our platform, from here on in. And next Monday is a Canadian Thanksgiving, so our international office will be closed. We'll be doing our Google Hangout next week. Following Tuesday, I'll be interviewing one of my clients. You're going to love this person. He's got an amazing system and has been able to leverage what we've been teaching and closing, increasing his sales rate by 40%. Unheard of. You're going to love when you hear from Winton. He's got some unbelievable cool things happening. And Joy, thank you so much. On behalf of the entire Awaken team, we salute you not only to taking focused, outcome-driven action right now, but by committing to following a better, more intelligent business model for your company. Have a great one, everyone.
Thank you.